Hey guys, before the video begins, I'd like to give this disclaimer. This video will showcase the Chaos storyline as it is portrayed in-game in Black Ops 4 Zombies via intro cutscenes and Easter egg endings. The intent of the video is to see if the Chaos storyline can hold its own without having to rely on the comics and other forms of media for storytelling and exposition. And with that said, let's jump right into the video. Alright, what's going on everyone? Jason here, and as you just heard from the disclaimer, in this video we are going to be seeing if the Chaos storyline can hold its own without having any outside forces help it for storytelling and exposition. So before we go into the analysis, let's go ahead and run through really quickly what has happened thus far in the Chaos storyline in the game of Black Ops 4 Zombies. Let's start with 9, since 9 was the first map showcased to us at the Black Ops 4 Zombies reveal event, and I believe it was the first Easter egg that was solved as well. So for the first time we see our new characters, Scarlet, Bruno, Diego, and Shaw in a cave. This mysterious woman is telling them to inhale vapors that will transport them back to the times of the Roman Empire. We see a man in a golden mask and an artifact in his hand. Prisoners are brought to the center of the Colosseum as the golden masked man activates the artifact, turning them into zombies. Gladiators and warriors go to confront the zombies, but the zombies make quick work of them. Our four heroes are then let out of the gladiatorial cages to take on the zombies, and the map 9 begins. After the players complete the Easter egg, the ending cutscene plays. At the beginning of the Easter egg cutscene, 6 floating symbols float around a blue glowing portal as this golden masked man reaches his hand in and seems to have hurt himself. Afterwards, he beheads our 4 characters and the map 9 ends. Moving on to Voyage of Despair, we see our 4 characters on the Titanic looking to steal the Sentinel artifact, and the Sentinel artifact is the cause of the zombie outbreak. The crew's heist is successful as Scarlet grabs the Sentinel artifact, but then is intercepted by a man with a glowing red eye in the middle of his forehead. He then becomes surrounded by the other 3 members of our crew as the glowing head eye man activates the Sentinel artifact, turning everyone on the ship into zombies. This is where Voyage of Despair begins. After the Easter egg is done and you have beaten the boss, the 4 characters travel through the ship and go down to the cargo hold where they see a vision of some sort of structure that Shaw seems to recognize. After the 4 characters abandon ship and are floating away on a lifeboat, Shaw proclaims that they must go to Delphi in Greece to find this mysterious structure. We then find out at the end of the cutscene that Bruno, just like the man from earlier, has a glowing red eye on his forehead. Bruno is part of the bad guys. Next, DLC 1 or Dead of the Night rolls around. This map takes place at Alistair Rhodes' mansion, and Alistair Rhodes is a very familiar name to us because this is Scarlet's father, and we hear Scarlet continuously alluding to her father throughout 9 and Voyage of Despair. Alistair Rhodes is hosting a party at his mansion. We then find out he gets kidnapped at his own mansion by the same guys in the masks we saw in 9, and with them is Alistair Rhodes' very own butler, Godfrey. We then have our 4 main characters of Dead of the Night, the Brigadier General, the Phony Psychic, a Cowboy, and Godfrey meet in one location as another Sentinel artifact corruption begins throughout the mansion. Partygoers are turned into zombies, and the 4 must defend themselves against the oncoming hordes. The Easter egg is completed, and the 4 characters notice that the Sentinel artifact is floating there in the mansion. Godfrey, who is part of this mysterious cult with the red eye in the middle of their forehead, betrays his crew and kills the Brigadier General, Phony Psychic, and the Cowboy. The mansion begins to burn down as Scarlet comes bursting in and kills Godfrey. But before Godfrey dies, Scarlet demands information from Godfrey on the whereabouts of her father. Scarlet then makes haste and chases her father's kidnappers, but it is unfortunately too late as the kidnappers get away with Alistair. Scarlet then goes back and references the note that her father had left her, saying to find 3 men, Shaw, Bruno, and Diego, because they are the men that Alistair trusts the most to go and find him and help him. Now moving on to Ancient Evil. We see our characters return from the hallucination that brought them into 9, and they are back in the cave. Our characters did not actually get beheaded. Those 6 symbols that we saw at the end of the 9 Easter egg cutscene are symbols that are needed to activate the secret door to reach the city of Delphi. So the crew does just that and reach the underground hidden real city of Delphi. There, they meet the Oracle, who has been trapped, and there are a bunch of zombies around. We also see that the Order has gotten to her first, as there is a dead guy on the floor with his mask off. It is at this point the map Ancient Evil begins. During the Ancient Evil Easter egg, Bruno and Shaw are transported into a secret room. As Shaw figures out how to unlock them from the secret room, Bruno's dark side, or his glowing red eye power, takes control of him and ends up killing Shaw in the process. Bruno then takes out the Scepter of Ra, the specialist weapon, and revives Shaw, making Shaw a member of the Red Eye Glowing Head Gang. Eventually, the 4 characters ascend Mount Olympus and kill Perseus. Scarlet goes to free the Oracle as Diego, Shaw, and Bruno look for Alistair. And to their surprise, Alistair and members of the Order are frozen in stone. To Diego's surprise, he runs out of the room frantically to see that the Oracle isn't what she said she was. It's Medusa the entire time. Medusa gains the information of the modern world from Scarlet's mind by kissing her, and Bruno narrowly saves her in time. Shaw and Bruno look on at the stone statue of Alistair Rhodes as Diego is hiding behind a pillar with unconscious Scarlet in his arms. Medusa then says she wishes to unlock the library so she can ascend and have more power than the gods themselves. And this is where the Chaos storyline ends in Black Ops 4 Zombies. Keep in mind that this was the order of which the story was told in Black Ops 4 Zombies. If we were to go chronologically, the order would be Dead of the Night, then Voyage of Despair, then 9, then Ancient Evil. So, in summary, if I were to tell the storyline in correct chronological order, Scarlet goes to the mansion to find her father. Her father's note says to find 3 people. Those 4 people collectively go ahead and go to the Titanic. They fail their heist. They go to Greece. They go to 9, where they find the Golden Masked Man. And then, once they're out of their vision, they go to Ancient Evil. The Oracle is Medusa. They have failed in their quest to find Alistair Rhodes. And that's where we leave off. The first thing that I notice about the storyline is there seems to be a big gap, at least in my opinion, between Dead of the Night and Voyage of Despair. To me, it probably would have taken Scarlet a significant amount of time to gather Bruno, Diego, and Shaw to go ahead and do the heist on the Titanic. Also, what does Shaw, Bruno, and Diego know about the Order? What do they know that they can collectively come together and join Scarlet to fight the Order together? How will they stop them? And just so you guys are aware, their backstories are fleshed out through the comic books, but once again, I shouldn't have to rely on the comic books to know these characters and what we're getting ourselves into. Subtle things are alluded to, like Bruno and Morocco. When Dark Bruno is talking to Bruno, Dark Bruno says, "I've been with you ever since Morocco." Well, that sounds like a really fun adventure, and how the hell did that happen? Well, we don't get to see that in game because we gotta go out and find a comic book to go read because the story isn't fully explained in game. Also, I'm aware that their goal is to try and stop the Order, but how are they gonna do that? In Voyage of Despair, we see that they're going after the Sentinel artifact, and the Sentinel artifact ends up turning everyone on the ship into zombies after their heist fails, but after that, they don't seem to be going after any other Sentinel artifacts. We see in 9 that the High Priest of Chaos, is what the man in the golden mask is called, has a Sentinel artifact that he uses to turn people into zombies. But our characters just don't seem to be going after that Sentinel artifact. Why go after the one in Voyage of Despair but not the one in 9? Why not go for the one in 9 and get that out of the hands of the priest in 9 so we can change the future? I thought the whole point was to stop the Order. Sentinel artifacts are being thrown around like candy. There's no one specific powerful artifact that can turn people into zombies. There seems to be multiple of them that we have no clue why there are multiple of them. Unless you read the comics, then you'll know why there are multiple Sentinel artifacts. Again, I don't want to rely on a comic book to show me what's going on in my storyline. And the same thing goes with ciphers. I don't want to have to go out and search for a cipher in the map if I'm a casual player to go and find more story from that. Comic books should be side stories. Comic books should be little bits of in between where, oh, a year has passed. What have our characters been up to, I wonder? not for an actual storyline, not for a cohesive storyline that makes us want to care and invest time in these new characters. I was one of those people at the beginning of Black Ops 4. I hated Scarlet. All she said was, my father, my father, my father, my father. I have no emotional attachment to you, and I really don't care about your father at this point. So why do you keep bringing him up? It's very redundant, and it's very annoying to me. Whereas Bruno, Diego, and Shaw, they bring their own little personalities to the table with a couple of jokes here and there in the map and, whatever their dialogue entails, but we just don't know a whole lot about them. All we know in-game for Bruno, Diego, and Shaw is Alistair Rhodes trusts them. One's from France, one's from Mexico, and the other one's from... I don't know where the other one's from. But we just know that these three guys joined Scarlet to go find Alistair Rhodes for some reason, and they want to stop the Order because of other reasons that we don't know. And what gives? What was in Delphi for us to find? The Order or Alistair Rhodes? I understand they want to find Alistair Rhodes, but the Oracle is there instead, and we don't find out that Alistair Rhodes is actually dead until the ending cutscene. So what's going on here? Did the Order need Alistair Rhodes to try and free the Oracle, knowing that the Oracle is Medusa? Is the Order a secret cult that worships Medusa, and Medusa wants to open the Library of Alexandria to gain infinite knowledge? But getting back on track, what's the plan here? Are we supposed to take the Sentinel artifacts away from the Order so they don't have them so we can stop them from doing something? Or are we just going around different spots the Order might be and stopping them at every turn? What's the Order's main intention? We don't know what the Order's main intention is in Black Ops 4 Zombies. In my opinion, if you're going to be introducing a new storyline to people, especially within the first few maps, which are going to take hours of gameplay and hours of time, I expect a motivation for our main villain, or what the writer and director are telling us the main villains are in our story. The Order just seems to be a mysterious cult with Sentinel artifacts, and they're everywhere the crew seems to go. I understand Treyarch in the past with the Aether storyline has used Cypher and mystery and intrigue to get us involved in the story and to find out more. But if you want to make a new story to engage new audiences, you should abandon that and go with something new. But even in a storyline with mystery and intrigue, there are clear good guys and bad guys, and we know what each of the sides want to do. The Shadow Man and the Apothicons want to take over the world. You have Richtofen 1.0 who wants to switch bodies with Samantha and keep control of the Aether. And I also understand that villains' true intentions can be revealed much, much later. But it just seems like our main characters are going to stop the Order because they need to. We don't get an explanation on why they're going to stop the Order. There is no theory of what the Order might do. We don't hear conversations of Scarlet and Diego saying, oh, I think the Order might do this. Well, why do you think that? Oh, because the Order is going to go over here and do XYZ. We don't get any of that. So if our main characters don't really know what's going on, why should the audience know what's going on? And if the characters do know what's going on and the audience don't know what's going on and the characters don't communicate that to the audience, what's the plan? What are we doing? It just seems like we're going here in action, action, action with little to no story for this part of the Chaos story. So what do the Order want? World domination, ultimate power so they can rule the world. What are they doing with the Sentinel artifacts? Do they want an undead army to take over the world? What's the deal? And I really hope it's not the undead army route, because we've already had that in the Aether storyline with World at War and Black Ops 1. The Germans want a undead army to win the war. Although there's no war going on in the Chaos storyline as far as we can tell, it would still be kind of a repeated, rehashed subject to say, oh, the Order wants an ancient undead army that can go upon the world, and the Order can now reign over the world with an iron fist with Medusa at the helm. I know I touched on this a little bit, but with Alistair Rhodes and him going to Delphi with the Order, why did the Order need to kidnap him? Was Alistair Rhodes the only person who could free Medusa from her entrapment? Or is it a set-up trap where Alistair Rhodes looks like he's being kidnapped by the Order, but it's really to draw Scarlet, Bruno, Diego, and Shaw, the only people who have any sort of knowledge about the Order, into a trap so they can get rid of them, or forcefully make them join by killing them and reviving them with the Scepter of Ra? These are things that I'd like to find out. Now, did you guys notice anything? The majority of the story that we've been talking about so far has been in Ancient Evil alone. This says something about your new storyline if one map is explaining something in more detail than your other maps have in the past. I understand Dead of the Night's ending Easter egg cutscene gave us a lot of insight on what the story is going to be from there. But Ancient Evil ties everything together. We know where Ancient Evil takes place. We know where 9 takes place in the storyline. We know where Voyage of Despair is, and we also know where Dead of the Night stands as well. Everyone was completely lost on the storyline with 3 maps released in 2 months. Everyone was lost with our new storyline, with 9, Voyage, and Dead of the Night. People hated the Chaos storyline. Then Ancient Evil releases, everyone's liking the Chaos storyline somehow. Why? Because Ancient Evil has a story to it. Ancient Evil, we see the main bad guy. We see that Medusa's the bad guy now. And now the Chaos story just ends. The Chaos story just ends in Black Ops 4. We gotta wait 3 more fucking years to see this storyline. So, does the Chaos storyline hold its own in Black Ops 4 Zombies? Yes. But no. You see, I think the story holds because of Ancient Evil. Ancient Evil is the glue that sticks the rest of the storyline together, so now we have an idea of what's going on, and we have a better understanding of where the storyline can go from here. Where it doesn't hold up is I'm not emotionally attached to any of these characters because I haven't been given a reason to care yet. Alistair Rhodes is some mysterious figure that we've been chasing throughout the game, and he just dies in the first game, so I don't really feel anything emotional here. It was definitely a good plot twist for Bruno to kill Shaw and make him part of the Order, but at the same time, I just don't really care about our characters to that extent to be devastated that Shaw has turned into a secret bad guy. As far as Scarlet goes, I understand she's the most important main character, but in my opinion, she really doesn't have any redeemable qualities that make her stand out, and she's just a very boring, one-dimensional character to me. When it comes to Diego, I understand that he is a ladies' man, he's a smooth talker, he was an assassin in Mexico, but other than that, I just don't see anything else that makes his character personable or something for me to relate to him. Same goes for Bruno. I understand that some of Bruno's quotes allude to him in the French military when you play the maps, but that doesn't mean anything if I don't know how that's changed him or how he became the person he became today. Although Diego does seem to really care about Scarlet, so hopefully Diego will play a much larger role in the next Treyarch game. To make a long story short, the Chaos storyline holds together in its direction, but where it falls short is character growth and character investment. The next 2 maps in Black Ops 4 Zombies are going to be Ether maps. So we don't get any more Chaos for another 3 years at the most. So, yeah, I'm just not quite sure what's going on here. I think this was definitely a good first attempt for Treyarch to introduce a new storyline, but I definitely think it could have been done better, and I definitely think more things could have been explained in Black Ops 4 Zombies without having the audience to rely on comic books and other things to fill them in on the storyline. Unless you're the type of fan that's interested and invested in Call of Duty Zombies, you're not going to be going out and finding these comic books or music videos or extra scenes that Treyarch puts out. If you want to play Call of Duty Zombies and you're a story person and you like to see a story, well, you're going to be a little confused, I think. And you're not going to have as much enjoyment with it if you didn't read the comics or you didn't take the time to go outside of what you were doing to learn more. No one goes to a movie at the movie theater and go, geez, I want to look up what happened next, or I want to look up a side story because I'm super invested in the movie that I just watched. Some people just go to the movies and they watch a movie once and go, oh wow, that was a pretty good movie, solid beginning, middle, and end, and everything was pretty good. And for the movies that don't have a good cohesive storyline, everyone goes, oh, that sucks, I don't want to find out more about this. I'm not saying that the Chaos storyline doesn't have a cohesive beginning, middle, and end because we haven't seen the full Chaos storyline so far, but in Black Ops 4 Zombies, it can definitely be a little confusing for the casual player. So far from what we've seen a pretty tangible chronology, but we'll just have to see what happens in Black Ops 5 or whatever the next Treyarch game is going to be called. But these are just my thoughts on the Chaos storyline. Let me know if you guys like or dislike the Chaos storyline down in the comments below. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. This is my first review style video analyzing characters and stories, so if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you let me know in the comment section, because I'm definitely new to review style videos, so yeah, I'd love to hear your feedback from that as well. Alright guys, it's been Jason. I hope you have a fantastic day. See you all in the next video.